Breaking news this morning out of North Austin. Police are on the scene of a shooting in the 7100 block of North I-35 near St. John's. Austin Travis County EMS says a woman suffered a gunshot wound. Austin Travis County EMS say now this is that location. There was some type of disturbance where a woman was shot and she was taken to the hospital. A man also in his 20s sustained minor injuries, possibly from a vehicle disturbance. Both were taken to Delcine Medical Center with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say they do not have a suspect in custody at this time, and they're telling people to avoid the area. We do have a crew on the scene, and we will bring you updates as soon as they become available.
You're watching Good Day Austin on Fox 7.
Good Saturday morning, everyone. I'm Jacqueline Sarkeesian. Thank you so much for joining us.
And I'm meteorologist Zach Shields filling in for Chelsea Andrews. She's going to enjoy ACL Fest today.
Yeah, I saw she was, checking out Guns N' Roses last night. A lot of people, with Good Day were there, and it was a little hot.
Saw a lot of people doing this number.
Yeah,
a lot of sweaty people down there.
Oh yeah, sweaty, stinky.
Okay, we won't go that far. Let's keep it PG, Jacqueline. Let's go. But it's going to be a fun time out there. At least it's not going to be a rain out this weekend, but round 2 of the heat.
And it's been a very busy morning for Austin firefighters. Around 3:30, they responded to a water rescue in the 11,400 block of South I-35 at Onion Creek. AFD received calls that a vehicle had run off a bridge and crashed into the water. Austin Travis County EMS says 3 people were pinned inside the car that was in 3 to 4 feet of water. Everyone has been rescued. All 3 of those people involved, including 2 men in their late teens, were taken to St. David's South Austin Medical Center with serious, possibly life-threatening injuries. And an early morning fire sends 3 people to a hospital. It started just before 4 o'clock this morning at the Woodland Heights apartment in the 8300 block of North I-35, just north of Rutland. An adult and 2 children were taken to Delcine Medical Center to be treated. The children suffered possible smoke inhalation. The father has burns and cuts from breaking a window to escape with his kids. AFD says the fire was caused by unattended cooking. 5 apartments suffered some smoke damage and 10 people are now out of their homes. The fire caused about $40,000 worth of damage. And AFD says the apartment did not have any working smoke detectors. They're urging everyone to check those batteries in their fire alarms. And if you can't afford a smoke detector, firefighters will install one free of charge. For more information on that, call 512-974-0299. And the first weekend of Austin City Limits is now underway. Fox 7 Austin's Jane Lonsdale has a look at some of those road closures. In Austin, police are having another no refusal initiative for both weekends of ACL. Anyone suspected of driving drunk who refuses a breathalyzer will be forced by court order to provide a blood or breath sample. The no refusal runs tonight starting at 10 and wraps up tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock. Another one will be held next weekend. The goal is to keep drunk drivers at home. Police say plan ahead before you go out to designate a driver. Take the bus, train, cab, or rideshare service. You can also call a friend or just stay where you are if possible. Also, the FAA has issued a temporary flight restriction over ACL, and that does include drones. And you can expect to see more electric scooter riders. They're an easy way to get around pretty quickly. Just a reminder for users, the rules of the road do still apply to you. If it's illegal for a driver to do so, it's also illegal for scooter riders. Just a safety tip, if you see or hear a big vehicle behind you, just pull over. Watch for cars and trucks who are turning. And as for drivers, there will be a lot of pedestrians, bicyclists, and scooter users in town over the next 2 weekends. So be sure slow down, limit distractions, and keep a close eye on the road while behind the wheel. And fans of the Austin City Limits Music Festival have a lot to look forward to this year, including the headliners like Guns N' Roses and Childish Gambino. Fox 7 Austin's Shannon Ryan has a look at the sights and sounds of ACL. And a group of parents want to put the Austin ISD school closure plan into a timeout. The district is looking to close 12 schools. Ridgetop Elementary is among those schools targeted to be shut down. Under the plan, students will move into Riley Elementary in 2023. Clara Bladbury is part of a parents coalition. She says the community meetings Austin ISD has organized haven't clearly explained how the schools were selected and how programs will be consolidated. Now, the next community meeting is set for Tuesday. A vote on the school closure plan by the school board is set for November 18th. All right, so you've been telling us kind of throughout the week that ACL, we could see the hottest temperatures in what, over a decade there?
Yeah, since 2005.
Wow.
Yeah, if we hit the upper 90s today and tomorrow, yes.
Oh my goodness.
2005. But you know what, Jacqueline, it's time to get excited. The weekend is here and we are just 48 hours away from a cold front coming to town. 2 more hot days nearing record territory, and then everybody feeling the heat relief and also seeing some rain. We actually have 2 fronts coming to town next week, so a lot to talk about in that 7-day forecast coming up next.
And some Austinites are worried about drinking the water after the recent algae scare. More on the quality and whether officials say it's safe to drink right after the break. And now we have more developments on the blue algae problem we're having here in Austin. Now the problem just continues. Earlier in the week, Austin Water reported the algae bloom may cause an unusual taste and odor in the drinking water, but says the water is safe to drink. Last night on Fox 7 Austin News at 6, Marcel. Coming up next on Good Day Austin, a look at a free music festival that will take you away from the ACL crowds. More on that when we come back. Good Saturday morning, everyone. This is a live look from ACL. The festival is done for right now, but crews are working to get ready for day 2. As you're looking at this live picture, you're also listening to Just Like Heaven by The Cure. They're playing on the Honda stage tonight at 8 o'clock. Gonna be a fun time. If you're hoping to avoid the big ACL crowds but still want to check out some pretty amazing music, you have a chance to do that this coming Thursday. Black Fred and Domain Northside are presenting Northside Amplified on Thursday. Here to tell us all about it, we've got Matt Ott, Vice Chairman and co-founder of Black Fred. Thank you so much for coming in. Let's just get right into it. Tell us what Black Fred is, because some people may not know what that is.
I'm very happy to. Black Fred is an organization that believes that our local music is true art, and that as art, it deserves the support of the community, just as the opera, theater, symphony has been supported for generations. We're a member-based organization. Austinites who love music join, get to nominate the bands they love, come to a private events, and then we give the money away at the end of the year. And Domain Northside is a sponsor of Black Fred, and we are honored to do Northside Amplified with them this year, first time ever, to bring more music into more people's lives.
I mean, we live in Austin, so what's, a day without music? So that will be so fun. And it's also very hands-on. People get to meet and greet with these bands, correct?
Absolutely. In fact, there's a meet and greet starting on Thursday at the Capital One Cafe at Domain Northside, where you'll get to meet all 4 bands that are playing: Texas KGB, Shy Beast, Swimming with Bears, and Mobley.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a fun time.
It's going to be a great time.
And it's free, open to the public.
It's not only free and open to the public, but it's kid-friendly. It's a great hang. There are incredible stores and restaurants around there. You should just make it an event. And whether you're going to ACL or not, if you are, it's a great warm-up to head out there the next day.
Very true.
Get yourself in the mood. And if you're not, you need music in your life. You're an Austinite after all. Come out to Domain Northside for Northside Amplified with Black Fred and get some great music.
And it's happening starting this Thursday.
This Thursday, absolutely. The open door hang at Capital One Cafe.
Keep talking, but we're going to show people the information.
The music starts at 6 with Texas KGB on the Northside lawn. We've got 2 stages. This is legit. It's like a mini festival, leading on to 7 o'clock with Shy Beast, 8 p.m. with Swimming with Bears, and then 9 p.m. we're going to cap it off with Mobley. All of these are bands that have received grants from Black Fred.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we've given over $1.5 million in grants and direct payments to Austin bands in just the last 5 years. years. And all of these bands have been recognized by your fellow Austinites as some of the most excellent music in town and have received grants funded by the members of Black Fret.
Wow, that is very cool. Before we go, where can people go get more information?
They can go to domainnorthside.com. They can see all the information there. There's even an Eventbrite if they want to feel legit and RSVP.
Okay,
let us know they're coming. But you don't have to. Tell your friends, tell your coworkers. If you work up north, I recommend stopping by, seeing some great music, grabbing some food, and enjoying yourself.
Okay, Matt, thanks so much for coming in. We hope the turnout is great on this Thursday.
Us too. Thank you so much.
Breaking news this morning out of North Austin. Police are on the scene of a shooting in the 7100 block of North I-35 near St. John's Avenue. Austin Travis County EMS says a woman suffered a gunshot wound and a man in his 20s sustained minor injuries, possibly from a vehicle disturbance. Both were taken to Del Cine Medical Center with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say they don't have a suspect in custody at this time, and you're taking a live look of the scene right now. They're telling people to avoid the area. We do have a crew here on scene, and we will bring you updates as soon as they become available. And Texas is getting $4 billion to prevent any future flooding. The grant money is coming from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The funds will be used to cut long-term loss of life, injuries, suffering, damage, and hardship. Since 2015, 183 of the 254 counties in Texas have received a presidential disaster declaration. 140 counties are eligible for some of those funds for 2015, 2016, and Hurricane Harvey disasters. The city of San Marcos will also get $24 million from the 2015 floods. Houston will or has received nearly $62 million for flooding from that year. The money will be controlled by the General Land Office. President Trump is issuing a major disaster declaration for 6 Texas counties that were affected by Tropical Depression Imelda. That includes Chambers, Harris, Jefferson, Liberty, Montgomery, and Orange counties. The move allows federal funding assistance for those impacted by the storm. If you know anyone still dealing with the aftermath of flooding from Imelda, tell them to go to disasterassistance.org or to apply for help. And the family of a black man shot and killed in his own home by a Dallas police officer is calling for change. Botham Jean's family joined Dallas faith leaders yesterday, urging the Justice Department to audit the Dallas Police Department. This comes just days after fired officer Amber Geiger was sentenced to 10 years in prison for killing her upstairs neighbor. Last year, the family filed lawsuits for wrongful death and civil rights violations. The Jean family claims Dallas PD failed to properly train Geiger as an officer. Geiger claims she shot Botham because she thought he was an intruder in her apartment. She will be eligible for parole after 5 years. And the Jean family is heading back home to St. Lucia, but will continue to follow developments in this case. And that judge in the case accuses the Dallas County District Attorney for violating her gag order in this case. Judge Tammy Camp says that an on-camera interview with John Crusoe on a Dallas TV station was, quote, a direct violation of her order. Later this month, she'll decide whether to hold him in contempt of court. That decision could play a role in possible appeals efforts for Geiger's defense team, who did try to move the case out of Dallas. Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders is back home this morning. The Vermont senator was discharged yesterday after having what doctors say was a heart attack. He experienced chest pains during a campaign stop on Tuesday. Sanders went to a hospital for an emergency procedure where doctors inserted 2 stents to clear a blocked artery. His wife says he'll rest for a while before getting back on the campaign trail. Top House Democrats are now asking the vice president and the White House to hand over documents related to that controversial call between President Trump and the leader of Ukraine. Fox's Ellison Barber has the details from Washington. Microsoft says Iranian hackers have targeted a U.S. presidential campaign. They also went after current and former U.S. government officials and members of the media. The company says 4 accounts were successfully breached, but none of them were related to U.S. campaign officials. Microsoft says the attacks happened during a 30-day period in August and September. The Trump administration is under fire once again, how it treats migrants. Officials announced they will start to move immigrant children who were detained by Health and Human Services to detention centers run by private for-profit companies. Those children are traditionally held in HHS detention centers or facilities run by nonprofit groups. Now, at least 20% of all migrant children in government custody are being cared for by for-profit companies. That's not sitting well with immigrant rights groups. HHS Secretary Alex Azar says reports of widespread privatization are misleading. He says his agency isn't compromising care of the children to save money. Meanwhile, immigration advocates are still trying to stop ongoing ICE raids that have resulted in thousands of detentions in recent weeks. Officials in sanctuary cities are increasingly fighting back by ordering police not to assist federal immigration agents, claiming the raids aren't making communities safer. Congressional Democrats have scheduled hearings for the next month on the legality of the ICE raids. Texas First Lady Cecilia Abbott is working to raise awareness to combat human trafficking. Several groups have announced the launch of Can You See Me? The multimedia campaign is spearheaded by the Texas First Lady to fight what advocates are calling modern-day slavery. Now it consists of billboards and public signs that show common scenarios of human trafficking. That campaign is hoping to educate the public about signs of human trafficking and encourage people to report suspicious behavior. You can do that by calling the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888. Vaping illness cases are on the rise across the nation and in Texas. As of today, at least 21 people have died from illnesses related to lung injury. The epidemic has health officials warning users to put down those e-cigarettes. Lung illnesses don't appear to be caused by an infection, but likely the result of vaping itself or inhaling a chemical while vaping. The symptoms include shortness of breath, chest pain, nausea, and fever. The Department of State Health Services reports 75 cases in Texas. And we're officially in flu season, and there are some important precautions you need to take. More on how to keep your family healthy when we come back. With the kids in school right now, it's easy for them to be exposed to germs in the classroom and eventually bring them home. This morning, we're taking a look at how you can protect your family from both the cold and flu. With us this morning is Sarah Talbot, a physician's assistant with Fetch MD. Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it. So one of the first questions we want to ask, why are classrooms one of the most common places for kids to get sick?
Right. So just the amount of children, number one, but the amount of people sharing their germs, especially in the younger kids who don't always know to cover their coughs or sneezes. There's just a little breeding ground for bacteria and virus.
And we're already in flu season, correct?
That's right. I work for an urgent care, Fetch MD, that does house calls, and we are already diagnosing the flu and treating the flu.
Wow. So what are some of the symptoms you guys are seeing right now?
Yeah, so technically you just kind of feel like you got hit by a bus. You may have a high fever, but also upper respiratory symptoms like cough, sneezing, body aches, just, you hurt all over.
What are some of the preventative measures that parents can do for their children to avoid getting the flu?
Prior to catching the flu, having your flu shot is the best way to try and prevent it, and the flu shot is already out. We're already giving flu shot. So teach your kids to cough or sneeze into the crook of their elbow. That's very important for helping not to spread germs. Having your flu shot done as a preventative measure. If you have the flu, stay home. Don't go to school, don't go to work. Kind of quarantine into your bedroom or your living room, washing hands or using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
And these are some of the things we hear over and over again.
That's right.
I mean, people are still not doing it.
That's right. It's so easily spread. I mean, sometimes you can feel like you're doing all of the right things and your immune system, maybe your diet isn't the best, we're stressed out, we're overworked, we're not getting enough hydration, and you just come down with the flu either way.
And do you guys expect the flu to be as bad as it was last year?
There's no way to tell. It's too early to know that, but as we get into the season, we'll have a better idea.
Wow. Is there any other helpful information that we can tell viewers this morning?
You know, usually I just want to let everybody know that especially very young kids, babies, the elderly, anybody with delicate medical underlying diagnoses, it's important to go ahead and get yourself checked out. There are antiviral medications that some people will need to take for viruses like the flu, but you need to take them early on.
All right. Well, very helpful information. Sarah Talbot, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it. The Astros head into Game 2 of the playoffs tonight, but were they able to pull off a win yesterday against Tampa Bay? Dennis has that answer next in sports.